guys and gals? Nary here from Drake Wing Gaming, and some of you me on Twitter, the Gaming Drag. Today I'm coming back at you another Let's Play episode of Polar Night. So y'all, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right back into it, shall we? Alarm Chan, you are up, and let's go. Alright. I made sure to massage my tail, wincing as the chill-induced pins and needles reminded me of just how extreme the cold out there could be. Canine and lupine tail movements were largely instinctual and involuntary, except where the canid was particularly disciplined or self-aware. I wondered how my tail had come across to the others up till now. I ran my hands along its length, wringing it like a wet towel and once again wincing as the feeling came back. The moment I'd nearly lost my temper back when we were walking to the Sylvia came rushing back, an intrusive thought that triggered a renewed pang of guilt. The way I'd snarled and bared my fangs at a fellow person, even though nothing he'd done or said warranted it. It wasn't the first time, and I hated it every single time it had happened. It was impossible to resist, though, an ingrained instinct like laughing or sneezing, when you feel that sharp surge of rage and it just wakes right up. The movie series Ryan Vaughn featured the suave, sophisticated titular Timberwolf protagonist, a British MI6 agent frequently tasked with saving the free world from cartoonish villains. One particular trait he had was his ability to suppress and fake his typical lupine tail movements, snarl, ear reflex, and fur bristling in order to appear collected and calm in any circumstance. Like many lupines and canines, it idolized him and tried to emulate his behavior. I mean, who could resist a movie hero in his unflappably cool persona? Someone who could effortlessly control their instincts. Of course, it was a movie and he was an actor. While every canine and lupine knew there were aspects of their physiology they could somewhat control, they couldn't stop it entirely. At the end of the day, we can't resist our deepest impulses. The soap had been working into my fur began to run off me, carrying with it the grime and filth of a very long and arduous journey. The stench of tobacco rose off me. Christ, did I really smell like this to others? I washed until the scent was no longer detectable, which took longer than I'd like to admit. Stepping out, I caught a glimpse of myself in the mirror, my bedraggled fur briefly distracted from my scarring. I pulled a towel, warm straight from the rack, and began to dry myself. My mixed feelings about this trip were being quickly buried under a wave of fatigue. It had been a very long way here. I finished off my evening routine by brushing my teeth and giving myself one final dose of eye drops for the night. I really didn't want to wake up to searing pain. As I re-entered what would be my bedroom for the next few weeks, the freshly made bed looked so inviting. My bag was still sitting on my bed. I rummaged around for my phone charging cable. Fortunately, I'd remembered to bring a region adapter for the power socket. June mentioned breakfast at 8:30. I decided to set my alarm for 8 a.m., just to give me time to get my shit together. I wasn't a morning person. I pulled back the cover at half collapsed onto the slightly chilly sheets. Brief thoughts of what lay before us flickered through my mind before sudden, overwhelming exhaustion hit me. Within minutes, I was out like a light. Uh-oh. I didn't remember much from my dream. It tended to be bizarre and utterly nonsensical, with a disconcerting number of them involving me being at college again. But having skipped so many classes, there was no chance I would pass my exam. Which didn't really make any sense, as I was a pretty good student. My braided ways of finding new and ever more ingenious ways of tormenting me, though. I slept lightly, drifting in and out of a restless sleep. I didn't sleep well in new places, which was hardly unusual, but the gentle sway of the ship through the water and the low hum of the engines added an extra alien quality. The knot in my stomach lingered. Part of me was furious with myself for not demanding we turn back and let me off. That would be an imposition on everyone else. I woke fully, turning over in bed. It was pleasantly cool, enough that I pulled the covers a little higher. It was absolutely pitch black, though. Not even the dimmest moonlight came through the windows. As alien as it was, there was also a tranquil quality. Out here for the next few days, at least. I was at complete liberty. No work, no obligations. The realization helped loosen that knot in my stomach a little, and I flipped onto my belly, nuzzling into the plump, cool pillow. Let's take a look at that meme. Oh God. The sharp female scream sent a jolt through my body. My eyes snapped fully open for all the good they would be in the inky blackness. 1 second, y'all. My ears pricked up, the fur on my neck spiking as I strained to hear. It couldn't have been real, right? Instinctually, I reached over to the bedside light. My hand swatted at the wall, fumbling in the dark until I found the switch. Click. Nothing happened. Click, click, click. What the fuck is up with the lights? I pushed myself up and tried to disentangle my legs from the duvet. Somehow my attempts to kick them off only made it wrap around my paws. Get the fuck off! I finally freed myself and scrambled to my paws, suddenly realizing that I now had no idea where the door was. My eyes were adjusting slowly and the vague outline of objects started to coalesce. I stumbled to the door, arms outstretched just in case. I could already hear a commotion out the hallway as my hand fumbled for the door lock. The corridor was just as dark. The ship must have had a power failure, which being at sea very much did not bode well. Who's there? Who screamed? Stefan? I saw the vague outline of the possum, who was also groping blindly in the dark. I guess his night vision wasn't as good as mine. Garrett? Where are you? I can't see a goddamn thing! Guys, it was Tabby! I heard her screaming! What in the God's name is happening? Ow, watch it! Sorry, I can't see. The four of us called out in frustration. Even with my night vision, I could only barely see where they were. Rufus, just to your right. The cabin door is right there. We moved carefully to the door, and the rest of us following as carefully as we could. A loud thump sounded from the door as Rufus hammered it with a meaty fist. Tabby! Gale! Y'all okay? We clustered around the door, and the scent of burnt lemons invading my nose. I couldn't blame them for being scared, though that scream chilled my very blood. As I strained to my ears, I could hear quiet voices, Gale's and Tabby's. One hysterical and raised, and the other soothing and soft. It's okay, Rufus. Everything's fine. Just didn't expect the lights to go out. Didn't sound like everything's okay. Y'all sure you're fine? Yes, just give me a moment, okay? Let me get decent. I heard more movement from the room just before a surge of humming rose the volume until... Ah! Oh, hello there. Yeah! It felt like someone shot lasers into my eyeball, and judging by the reaction of the others, they didn't fare much better from the sudden light. It took a few moments for my good eye to adjust, but the more it did, the more the others came into view, and... Well, goddamn. Dude, is this really the time? I had 2 twinks and a beefcake. I feel spoiled. Ha! Twink? I love it. Beefcake? Before we could give him a piece of our minds, the sound of the cabin door clicking open pulled our attention. I'm so sorry. I hope we didn't scare you guys. Oh! Well, aren't you fellas a sight for sore? Oh my god. It's raining men. Hallelujah, it's raining men. I know, right? Both Stefan and Rufus looked a little smug. I, on the other hand, shivered and shrank on myself, hunching a little and turning my wrist away, hiding the bite scars. I realized now that even Stefan had a nice physique, especially in comparison to my own bony frame. You all sleep in your undies? I sleep naked, but figured y'all wouldn't want to see my bits flopping around in an emergency. Oh, you figured wrong. Jesus Christ, can you all focus for a second? Gale, what happened? Tabby sounded really scared. Oh, right, well... She trailed off at the sound of frantic footsteps hammering down the stairs from the upper deck. A moment later, June skidded into view, looking worried. Guys, I'm so sorry, is everyone okay? She was breathing heavily, clearly having sprinted here. The fact that 4 guys were standing here in our kecks didn't seem to faze her. June, relax, everything's fine. Tabby just got scared is all. Oh, I heard the scream. She glanced back at the cabin door for a moment. She has nyctophobia. A collective sigh of realization went up from our group. Given how pitch black it had been, if the lights had suddenly failed, that would explain her panicking. Rufus, on the other hand, looked confused. Nycto, what now? I'm sorry, that ain't contagious, is it? Hey, what's the deal? Did I say something wrong? Oh my god, I love Rufus already. 1 second, y'all. Nyctophobia. It means fear of the... It means fear of the dark. Rufus' look of confusion turned to a look of deep regret. I'm really sorry, Gale. I didn't mean nothing by it. Don't be silly, Rufus. No offense taken. And I appreciate you boys coming to check on us, really. But for now, I really need to be with Tabby. If you could just bear with us, I'm really sorry for alarming you all. Gale, if it helps, we have some battery-powered electric lanterns. They last ages and have adjustable brightness. Those could help if the lights go out again. Okay, yeah, that was a question. Oh, that would be wonderful. Thank you so much, June. Oh, this video is going to do very well tomorrow for obvious reasons. Oh, I love it. On that note, what exactly happened? Do we have a power cut? Oh, sorry, Sheriff and the Captain wanted to test the new sonar equipment, but it tripped the light circuit and, well, you know. Stefan looked like he was going to say something, but June clapped her hands and interjected.
I'll come by your cabin in about 10 minutes with the lantern, Gale. I just need to update the captain first, so just bear with me a bit, okay? And for the rest of you, I'm really sorry. I'll make sure the captain knows not to retry the test until the power system is repaired, okay?
Rufus and Aaron gave both nods and grunts of approval, while Stefan seemed to be staring up at something on the ceiling. June gave a little way before trotting back towards the stairs and disappeared up toward the main decks.
Okay, fellas, as much as I wish I could enjoy the view a little more, my little sis needs me. But seriously, thank you.
She gave us a grateful smile and a small wave and slipped back into her cabin, locking the door behind her. Now that we were left alone, I felt pretty exposed. Aaron was very much scanning us with hungry eyes, as though committing the sight to memory.
Well, boys, I don't know about you, but I'm bushed. Gonna hit the hay now. Oh, so soon.
Stefan, however, was still staring at the ceiling, and now I traced his gaze to find what he was so interested in.
So why didn't they come on?
My eyes found that what he was focused on, a light marked with red tape that was not currently lit.
What do you mean? The emergency lights. Yeah, that's a good question. I ain't an expert, but aren't they supposed to switch on when the main lights fail? Exactly, so why didn't they? The engine never stopped, so the power didn't go completely.
The tension in the air thickened as we each pondered the ramifications.
Listen, I'm too tired to ponder this, but if y'all wait till morning, we can bring this up with the captain.
Theron and Stefan nodded in agreement. I made a mental note to also have a word with Joseph. We seemed to have something of a rapport, best I could tell. And as bosun, he'd be one of the best people to ask about it. Plus, the ship. Try that again.
Isn't he, like... I think he might... Is he Russian? I don't know. What is his nationality?
I don't know. There's a lot of people from different nationalities on the ship, so... Not good. Just know the trip is dangerous. I can't say more. No, that's not Russian, but whatever. I'm starting to think there was a lot more to that warning.
Alright, see you fellas in the morning, okay?
Yeah, sure. Stefan continued to gaze at the emergency light, seemingly lost in thought before Rufus placed a huge hand on his shoulder and steered him back toward his cabin.
Good night, Garrett.
Night. The lights in my room were still out, though this time they were still turned off. 1 second, y'all. Click. I stared at my bed, the evening's drama rather killing my sleepiness. Even knowing now why Tabby had screamed, it still sends a shiver up my spine to think about it. And now the question of the Sylvius emergency lights not working left me with a lot of questions. I moved over to the bed before slowly clambering back under the duvet, my thin coat of fur not totally protecting me from the chill. I reached out to the switch for the main room lights and flicked them. Even as I plunged back into darkness, my mind was still racing. I reached for my phone to check the time. 2:14. The knot in my stomach was there, sitting heavily as my thoughts raced. Now, every tilt and sway of the ship beneath me, every stray noise caught my attention. With a deep breath, I closed my eyes and tried to push the events from my mind. I could deal with this in the morning. For now, I just needed rest. But rest never came. It had been a supremely shitty day. Nursing a black eye with a heart pounding in my chest, teeth grinding and adrenaline coursing through my veins, it took me several tries to get the keys in the lock. Once inside, I slammed the door, ignoring the yelp of surprise from the living room. Clyde and Connor wouldn't be home yet, so it would be just me and Mum.
Garrett, that's you, pet.
As much as it tore me up even more, I was in no mood to talk to her. I just descended to incoherent swearing and shouting, and I didn't want to subject her to that. So I just bottled it up, as always. It's me, Mum. I'm heading upstairs. I don't want dinner. I heard her plaintive voice call from the living room, but I didn't catch what she'd said. Thank Christ those two arseholes weren't home. I genuinely think I'd have murdered someone otherwise. As I stomped up the stairs, seething, I stopped at the top of the stairs when I saw something. A door. A bedroom door. Open. It was when I heard rustling. Someone was going through my things. I marched to my door, not caring if it was Clyde. Any possible fear I'd had of him was buried under my volcanic rage. I told you to stay the fuck out!
Garrett!
My brother jumped as I appeared at the door, looking at me with shock. Connor, I hadn't expected him. He usually respected my privacy, usually. I was about to scream at him, unload the boiling anger in my chest on him for invading my space. That's when I saw what he had in his hands. My fury instantly cooled into something else. Absolute terror. Friday. When I jolted awake, my heart was pounding in my chest. My jaw hurt. I'd obviously been clenching it during the night. It took a few moments for me to remember where I was. The gentle rolling of the Sylvia quickly brought me back. I buried my face in my hands, choking back sobs. My limbs trembled and the adrenaline still coursed through me. I practiced my breathing, closing my eyes and taking deep, shuddering breaths. It was something I'd been taught by the last person I'd
I'd have ever expected to learn something from like this from. And to make it sting even more, it actually worked. In, count to 3, hold, count to 4, out, count to 5. After a few minutes, my heart slowed and my breath came easier and the shivering ceased. I opened my eyes, wiped my tears, and finally took in my surroundings. It was still dark out, though this time of year this far north, that didn't mean much. I rolled over and grabbed my phone on the bedside table. 7:48 a.m. My eyes still burned from the tears, but also fatigue. I barely slept at all, and even when I had finally dropped off, my nightmare ensured it was not a stressful one. It was not a restful one. I yanked off the covers and swung my legs over. The temperature in the room was uncomfortably cold. I padded over to the radiator and gripped it. Fuck me, ice cold. Does anything work on this fucking ship? A loud rumble from my belly caught me off guard. I realized I hadn't eaten anything since lunch yesterday. My stomach folded into a knot. Breakfast wasn't until 8:30, less than an hour. It might as well have been years away. With a heavy sigh, I padded into the bathroom. I as well shower and get dressed. My thoughts had been so preoccupied with my stomach that I'd forgotten the lack of heating just seconds ago. The moment the ice-cold water hit me, I admit I yelped like a pup whose tail had just been trodden on. I practically teleported across the bathroom in shock. I stared at the water with a murderous gaze, as though it had planned this, and the embarrassment kicked in. I prayed that whoever was next door hadn't heard that yelp. The rest of my shower was short and I didn't bother with shampoo. By the time I stepped out, my limbs were shaking violently, as I could strike tired from my current list of maladies. I thought as I glimpsed my grumpy, bedraggled form in the mirror. Alright, y'all. I'll go ahead and pause it right there. Thank y'all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and that notification bell. Leave a super thanks or tip if you can. It always helps. Until the next video, I love you all. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!